gonna leave?
See, no way. They had some offensive struggles early, some injuries. Also, they had to go new guys, and also they explode offensively. What did you see that allowed them to do that last week?
I thought their quarterback kept plays alive. That was the biggest thing. That he ran around the pocket a little bit. Thought the run game was working well. He can obviously run the ball. He was their leading rusher, and then he made some big throws down the field. So it was. You watch their first couple games, and then you turn this one on. It looks like a totally different offense.
You got two quarterbacks to prepare for. Is this
three, I think.
Wow,
they say Kemp's practice Sunday, so.
Right. The two distinctly different styles between Kemp and Purdy. Is there a trap you could fall into with devoting too much time to one guy? How do you go about planning that?
Well, obviously we have to be worried about quarterback run game with Purdy. So, we're going to have to do our due diligence with that. Kemp, he's not much of a runner. He doesn't like to run, I should say. He will pull his own read, or they ran Q power with him last year a few times, but that's not his forte. So we just have to, and it's really nothing different. We've had to do this, a few times this year already. So the only time we didn't do it was at Texas Tech, and it came back to bite us after their quarterback went out. So we'll continue just to keep working, do what we do, and get our guys prepared.
Tony, as a defensive coordinator, this guy seems to be pretty basic in the way he runs his offense. He's got a star running back, usually a workable quarterback, and doesn't make a lot of mistakes. How do you respect that, and how do you approach something like that where you're trying to cause chaos?
Yeah, the one thing that you notice about Iowa State is they're very well coached. They're very disciplined. They don't make don't create a lot of stupid penalties. And they're, I like coaching against these guys just because they're really good coaches. They have good schemes. This is a lot better than some of the stuff we see in our league. Actually, it's real football, and it's refreshing to see at times.
Number one concern, the size of wide receiver that you always have.
Yeah, they've always had them. Last year they had two other guys that were 6'5", 6'4", 6'6", so hopefully we could tackle them. That's going to be the key.
Montgomery, back-to-back years, over 100 yards. He's still day-to-day, according to Matt, as far as playing. What does he bring to them, and what do you have to do to stop him?
Well, obviously we have to tackle him. That's the biggest thing. 2 years ago out there we struggled tackling him. Last year here we did a pretty good job with it. But he's real elusive. He's a powerful kid. Very rarely do you ever see him go backwards when he gets hit. So, and he makes a lot of guys miss. I think that PFF, they do a thing on backs after the season, and last year, yards after contact and making people miss, he was the #1 running back in the country by doing that. So he's a really good player. And he doesn't turn the ball over either. I think last year he had one fumble and it was in the bowl game.
How do you counter a 6'6" target? What things do you have to do with Hakeem Bailey?
We're going to put Norwood on Keith's shoulders and let him cover him that way. No, it's well, we've got good practice at it. Obviously, Texas Tech, they were big. So, what we have to do is create confusion for this quarterback and not give him easy throws to that big target. So that's kind of our key every week. And try to create pressure and make quick throws so we can keep him in front of us. If you get in a jump ball situation with him, we're going to lose that.
Tony, now that he's had about a month of practice and games under his belt at the position, where are you at on the Giovanni Stewart to linebacker sort of transition?
I like him. I would say he's probably the smallest linebacker in college football, 193 pounds, I think. So, but he plays like he's 6'2", 220. So he's energetic. He flies around. He's physical. But really like the way he's progressed. He's been a big piece to our success over the last few weeks, and Don't know if we're going to keep him there next year or not, but I'd say it's going to be hard to talk him into going back to safety. I think he likes it in there. So we'll see where we're at with that.
Toys coming back gives you like sort of a good problem, I guess. How do you use Pitts this week if that happens?
Well, if they're both healthy, we're going to use both of them, just so we don't run into the same situation we've been in where one guy's playing and he goes down, play 40 or 50, and we have to move another guy in and start moving pieces. So the good thing about Pitts, and we knew that, he's a versatile guy that's played both, and right now we'll concentrate on more of him at safety right now.
Is there any way you do about replacing Pitts and whenever Ashley's going to be a corner? Do you spread out the other three? Do you try to get somebody there to soak up his snaps?
Yeah, well, Jordan Adams will be the next guy in now. He's our fourth corner at this point. Took a lot of reps last week during practice. So we feel confident if somebody needs a breather. And, right now we're going to stay with the same three that we've been playing the last few weeks, and Jordan would be that next guy in.
When you're facing a true freshman quarterback starting his second game, do you try to get more confusing, or do you figure that what you do normally should be confusing enough?
Yeah, well, Bob, I'm not real smart. I don't want to confuse myself. So we kind of do what we do, and we'll throw some different looks at him, obviously, that we do every week. But we're just so different. I guess the disadvantage we have this week is Iowa State does a lot of the same stuff we do. So there's a lot of carryover that this kid's probably practiced against all camp, and I don't know if he'll be fazed by that. He seems like he's, that he knows what he's looking at and knows what to do with the football. So just watching him against Oklahoma State last week, he was, he made some plays and made them go.
Did you find a little bit more help at linebacker last week?
Yeah, a little bit. We played Hensley a little bit. Put the younger guys in at the end of the game, and they didn't do too well. So I think they got 10 snaps and gave up a touchdown that I wasn't happy about. But we have to go out and stop people. And usually on Sundays, what I do in our meeting, our defensive meeting, is we'll watch film, and I'll pluck anywhere from 15 to 20 snaps out every Sunday, go with the whole defense, good and bad. So this week it was the twos that they got their turn. So those are the only 10 plays we watched, and it wasn't good.
Hensley, though, good to see.
Yeah, it was good to see him get in. Yeah, he got in the game. It was 21-14, and he held his own in there and looked good.
With the limited number of snaps you've seen against power, how was Giovanni and some of those guys handled it?
Good, really good. Well, you talking about the power play?
Power formations, power running plays.
Well, he saw about 60 snaps of it against Kansas State. That was his first start, or second start, I guess to say. So, but he handles the pullers well. I mean, he gets knocked down, but he jumps right back up, and he's willing. So he's willing to run in there and use all 193 pounds and try to get those guards stopped.
Johnny, you're talking about playing who knows who a quarterback this week. Did you happen to see what Hawaii did last week? They put his quarterback didn't play, and they put somebody out there in his jersey. They just had him run around as they thought he would play. I'm assuming that would infuriate you, but
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that you knew he practiced Sunday. Again, I mean, this is kind of like this espionage nowadays, but somebody who's not who's playing. How far can you go? How far do you go to try to figure things out? And are you watching the identity of players on the field to see if that's actually Kemp out there?
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that our GAs and analysts before the game, that's why they go out, making sure, checking jersey numbers, who's who. It'd be hard unless they, dress one of those big wideouts up in 17, because Kemp's a big guy. So, but that's part of their job. Go out, see who's out in pregame warm-up, see how they're running around. The knee injury that he had didn't look real bad on film, but you never know. I mean, we've seen a guy trip and blow ACL out, so I don't know what the severity is. But in Coach Campbell's, the last few weeks, he keeps saying he's going to be back and reference West Virginia game a bunch. And I read an article from their local paper that said he did practice on Sunday. So I don't. Now it's their decision, obviously, who they're going to play and if he's ready to go and if they're going to mess up their momentum they just had at Okie State. But we'll find out, I guess.
Might have changed that urgency of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, so and most coaches, obviously, you're going to go with the hot hand and see how it goes. But you have a guy that's played a bunch that you're counting on has been your starter. So I'm sure if Kemp does play, we'll probably see both and maybe all three.
Mike mentioned this. Oklahoma State has followed the last 3 teams you played. Is that helpful? Does that give you any ideas on how they're going to attack things?
Not really. They're so different defensively. They play a lot of man, a lot of quarters, so it really doesn't help us. Obviously, you get to see a little bit of this scheme. They went to a little bit of 3 down at times, but we reference a lot off of a year ago playing against these guys for the last couple of years. And then we look at some other things. Akron jumped in and out of some odd, and Okie State did as well, but their base stuff is 4 down quarters, playing a lot of different coverages. Not really. And that's what's so different with us, and we're used to it at this point. 2-3 series in, we're going to learn how people want to attack us. A few years ago, they were going formation into the boundary. So obviously, we're going to work a lot of that. But, there's just so many different deals. And there may be a whole new package this week with their quarterback. Now they have that much confidence in him. I'm sure their run game is going to expand with him, and, especially if the other quarterbacks are healthy and they can use him. So we'll see.
Davis talked about using the scout team kind of like a farm team with the redshirt rules. Any guys you think could help you maybe later this year? Or? Yeah,
I think Quantel Raines is a guy that we've kept with us, and he gets reps. So he's a guy that, if we were going to throw in a game, he would probably, he would be the next freshman in right now. So he would be a guy that could possibly play.
Spur?
Yeah. He could be a spur. Really, any of the safety spots. If we start to get thin or get an injury, obviously he's going to have to play. So we keep him with us during practice. Obviously he travels, gets a lot of reps during the week with the twos. And last week he got a bunch of reps when we knew Toyas was not going to be able to play. So he started getting a bunch of reps last Tuesday.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All righty.